Away on this Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday, August 19, 2025. Hey, good morning, Coach Tommy, Jim, Rally. Wow, big crowd here today. Joe, Gold, Julie, Mike. Good morning. Terry, Gail, good morning. Sonny, good morning. How are you? Let's see, make sure I'm turned on here in the right place. Okay, I am. Cool. All righty. Big good morning to everybody. Let me click this off. There we go. All right. Hey, what are we going to start with today? The market remains bullish. Um, let's look at this right here. It remains bullish. Yesterday, I talked about, I think the market's a little tippy, little toppy, little too much weight at the top, needs a little bit of help down at the bottom. And I still think it's that way, but it's getting better. I think it is getting better. Here, this pullback is lightening up and it's slow, allowing the 8 EMA to catch up to it a little bit and even start to move sideways a little. Here's what it looks like. Price remains above the 8 EMA or the T line. The 8 EMA remains above the trend indicator down here. One little caveat with this, one little maybe negative, one little issue, one little toppy thing is that we might be a little bit too far away here, that T line and the trend indicator. So really all that means is that we may just consolidate and walk to the right, maybe, something like that for a couple more days until those moving averages get a little closer. And then it'll start to create that squeeze. And that squeeze is what pushes everything up. So we'll keep an eye on that. Q's. Sorry, I haven't had enough coffee here, and my throat's a little roasted. Good morning, roasted. A little rough here. And the Q's here, they're doing the same thing. Nice little pullback, a little toppy up here. So far, we're sitting on that T line area. The one thing I don't want, and this is true with the SPY as well, we don't want to get below where this 50% retracement is. If we start to get below that could trigger off a little bit of selling and maybe a little bit more than you really, really want. Hey, good morning, Hydro. I haven't seen you in a few days. I'm glad you made it. Hello, Sharon. Good morning. Good morning over there. So let's see here. Hey, I want to remind everybody. Let me put this out there. All right. On August 26th, Tuesday, I believe it's just next week. Is it? Yeah, just next week. I'm having an open house, and my open house is going to be a little bit different this time. We're going to have certain times. We're going to do certain classes. So you can see it right here, 7:30 in the morning, just like right now. We're going to do the live charts and targets. Break until 8:25, and this usually lasts a good 30 minutes. Break at 8:25, then the market, or until 8:25, and then we'll get ready for the market. The market opens up, and then for about an hour, we're gonna just get the market open and answer questions, things like that. Then at 10:30, we're gonna. These are all Eastern times, by the way. At 10:30, we're gonna start with a little rounded bottom breakout class. Then it'll be lunchtime, and then come back at noon, and then we're going to look at the pinball setup and the modified pinball setup. At 12:30, we're going to have some questions and chart reviews. Basically, look at our charts, check our positions, talk about our positions, ask questions, answer questions, things like that. At 1 p.m., we're going to do the 3/8 trap entry, trend and trade. And then at 1:30 break until about 2 p.m. And then that takes us toward the close. But that'll be where there'll be an open session, look at a lot of charts, answer a lot of questions, do a lot of stuff, have a lot of fun. So please register. Registration is required. And this is Tuesday, August 26th. So I've got a link. Let me see if I can post it again. let me try this one more time. There it is. Bear with me just for 1 second. Post a link right here. Hit run candlesticks, folks. You don't have to register. I'll put the link in there if you feel you need to. Well, I guess that's not true. Trials, if your trial runs out before Tuesday, yes, you'll have to register. But if you're able to get in the room here, you don't necessarily need to register. Okay, so. Okay, where did I leave this at? The Qs. Take a look at IWM this morning. IWM is still holding up very well. Chart looks bullish. Nothing particularly wrong with it. Diamonds look very good here. In fact, here the diamonds this morning are trying to lift off. Again, the market remains bullish. Just maybe a little bit of, we just need to move sideways and rest just a little bit because of the toppiness, but overall bullishness. The transports, they're looking pretty good. Look at that. Hey, even in the transports, look at this gap we're getting up. And for those that don't know what a pop out of the box is, which we'll cover that most definitely Tuesday, is right there. That's the pop out of the box right there. We rally up. There's the box. The box is buyable. And then you can see that we've popped up right here. That's what we call the pop out of the box. Very, very, very nice, nice chart pattern. And then let's look at SMH, SSM, the other SMH. There we go. SMH remains bullish. We've just done a little pullback here, perfectly normal. Price remains above the T-line. T-line remains above the trend indicator. Life is good if you're a bull. T2123 got a little wonky yesterday, just a little bit. Got a little close to the T-line, riding it a little bit, even threatened to get down there below it a couple of times. Again, I think the market overall is just a little bit tipsy. There we go. A little bit tipsy, but I do think it'll find its footing, and I do think it'll run up. Now, where it won't is if there's some kind of bad news. If there's some kind of bad news, then it might not, But if you're just looking at the charts seem pretty darn good to me. And if you look at VXX here, we're still pushing to the downside. No signs of fear, and that's very good for the bulls. Okay, so I was asked a question, and I would like to answer that. Although I did do a case study. I think it was episode 13, or was it episode 12? Can't remember now. On CNC yesterday. So if you look at YouTube, you can look for CNC case study episode 12 or 13. I can't remember now. But I explained why I closed this out, and I will buy it back when the time is right. And so the question was, why did I sell it if there was still plenty of profit to the upside? And I want to all the members here, we did this yesterday, and I want to talk about this today really quick, and then we'll look at charts, I promise, okay? And let's talk about risk. When we talk about risk, 99% of the time, this is what we talk about. Where to buy it, let's do this here. Maybe where to buy a stop. And, well, I think I'll put my stop, or where to buy a stock. I think I'll put my stop right here so I can control my risk. Okay, control my risk. That's what we talk about. That's what, that not just us, but everybody. That's the focus. It's everything about, oh my God, I'm worried about losing my money when I buy the chart. It's, oh, I've got this investment on here. Where am I going to put it? Because I don't want to lose very much money. That's like the super focus, right? Well, there's another kind of risk. All right. There is another kind. Let me go find it. 39, 40, close CNC, 37% is what I was up on this. All right. So let me get this out here. So I'm up 37%. Okay. Now I've got to decide, do I want to risk? Yeah. What was that word? Risk that, or do I want to be greedy and watch it go up? So you've got to answer that question, being a trader. Now, one of the most pat answers there is that I've heard from everybody is just put your stop in there and keep writing it up. Hey, look, if that toots your horn, you toot your own horn. I'm going to toot my own horn. My own horn says I'm going to be a profit taker because that money is now in my pocket and there is no way in the world you can take it from me. I don't care how big you are, sneaky, you cannot take that money from me. Not at all. I put it in my pocket. Now, I absolutely think this chart goes higher, and I will guarantee you I will buy it again. Could very well be today. Could very well be today. It's not my job to buy something and get 1,000% on it. That is not my job. My job is to buy something, swing it, and make money on it. So swing profit, swing profit, swing profit is what I'm going to look for. So I still have very nice chart targets on this. It's still a great looking chart. Congratulations for everybody that received an alert when we sent alert out when we bought it down here. But being up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and we're running into a little minor speed bump right here. I felt it wise yesterday to take that profit, put that 37% in my pocket, and then let it set up, and then start the trade all over again. Okay. So that is the reason I sold it. And again, if you want to go see the case study on CNC that I put on YouTube last night, I think it's also on our social media. It's also there, Facebook, X. You can go find it right there. Okay. All right. Enough about CNC, enough about me. Let's talk about you and charts you may want to take a peek at. Okay. Hydro, you're looking at AS. Let's take a look. Well, what is it starts like this, it would be so kind to have a question in there. Very helpful. So you're looking at this long, and I'm going to ask why, why? If you feel I think, you know what? No, it's not a long. If you want to dive into it with some kind of question, we can look at that. But you've got nothing but resistance up here. The chart is down. There's no buy signal. So I'm going to say no. Okay. What's that one? GDRX. Let's see here. Hey, also a great big thank you for everybody being here. Our new time. I know it's a little bit early. Believe me, I know it's a little bit early. But thanks for being here. Okay. Hey, nice gap up, and I love the way we're holding right in this area here. So might have to put that one on my watch list. I'm going to take a look at the weekly. The weekly here looks to me like, here's our bottom building area, the top of the bottom building area. Here's the bottom part of the bottom building area. It looks to me like if we start taking out, and I'm going to move up into these candles right here, and that's just above the 50-period moving average. If we look at that, so we start moving above 504 there, and we have some bullish looking candles, some bullish activity, I would definitely take a look at that as a possible long chart. I'm going to flag that. Also, too, let's do this. I'm going to come over here to this top and go down to that bottom. There we go. Right there. And this would be my target that I would be looking for. First big target, I should say. And then the next target, which below would be about right here. We'll put one more on there too. There we go. That's a pretty nice chart. Big old gap here, cradle pattern down on the bottom. I think we should keep that one close to our vest. Thank you very, very much. NVO, let's take a look at that. Was that pharma stock? Got a little something yesterday going on. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, this is setting up for our pinball setup. This is one of the charts that I'll be talking about during the open house on Tuesday, August 26th, right in here. And you know what? I may even use this stock right here on that because it may not have gone anywhere by then. I like the bottom. So here we are, down and then up. We've moved up with a nice little run here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. We're holding up today. That is looking really, really good. I like that. Now, I can't go into the whole pinball thing too much because we just don't have time. But I'm thinking yes. I'm thinking a definite yes here. So I'm going to have to flag that. And I'm going to look at that 50 period moving average pretty much as the target up there. That would be my playing field, right? Between here and here. And man, we're talking what, 17%? What a nice percentage there. So I think that's excellent, Daryl. Appreciate posting that out there very much. Okay. So let's take a look at that one. Let's keep an eye on that one. That might be right on my list for a buy here. Yep. And then what else? Can I use 3/8 trap in intraday? Absolutely, you can use a 3/8 trap intraday. In fact, my favorite for that is the 60-minute. If I'm going to look at a 3/8 trap on intraday, 60-minute is where I look for it. But you can use it in any time frame. Absolutely. AGL long. This is another one. I've got this on my watch list already. AGL setting up where we've gapped down, we put in a bottom, and then run up to that 50 period moving average. And that is in the neighborhood of 53%. Now, I'm going to put the 34 EMA up here for a sec because this is what we call a pinball setup. And this is what I used to trade. This is all I ever used to trade. And the lower price stocks like this, maybe $10 and lower. And this pinball setup is what made the difference between working for a living or trading for a living right here. This was the chart pattern. So what we've got is price that's beat down low. We start putting in, buyers start coming in. You build something over here. And then what happens is it comes up and it closes over the T line. Now, we'll talk about this more on, what is it, 26? We'll talk about this more on Tuesday. So right in here is your buy area. And the target is the 34 EMA. Now, that was a long time ago, okay? We're going to talk about the modified pinball setup. Again, Tuesday, we'll talk about that. But if you look at this, your risk is built into this. This is why this works so well. And this is why I was so successful with it, because I wasn't smart enough to control my risk. It was, oh no, I couldn't be wrong kind of a thing. But the risk line is already there. You don't want it unless it stays above the T line. And then up to the 34 EMA, that's 21%. Look, nobody is going to sneeze over that. That's pretty nice money right there. And then from there, during the class, I'll tell you why it's called a pinball setup. But I think that's an excellent looking chart myself. Okay, absolutely excellent. Great little fill the gap type of thing. Let's get rid of that 34. There we go. Coach says loves those gap fills. Thanks, Coach. What else do we have here? AG. Okay. Hey, Bal. Good morning. Fastenal. Was Fastenal one of those that I bought yesterday going in the close? Let's see here. No, it wasn't. It's one I was looking at. I know that. but not one that I bought. I think this is a very viable chart right now. There was 3 or 4 charts I looked at and that I bought yesterday going into the close, and Fastenal was one of them. I sure thought it was, but I did not buy Fastenal yesterday. There's a good chance that I pick up Fastenal today, if as long as it doesn't take off. But right now, I think Fastenal looks pretty darn good, and here, let's just move that right up there. Um, Watch between 50, a little over $50 here. It would be the first little. Let's get through that, and we'll see if we can get higher. That's an excellent looking chart. Also, this is a pop out of the box right here. What I would call a pop out of the box setup. So here we have a nice rally and we have a rest. That's all a pop out of the box is. Just a rest. Take a breather. Woof. That's a lot of work. And that's a lot of work to get up there. And okay, let's take a little break. And then rock and roll. Get back to it. Yeah, nice chart. Thank you. Put that on the today's list. There was another one here. Oh, Val, you were saying, yeah, pop out of the box. Yeah. Good morning, Joe, and good morning, Coach. Yeah. Bart, PLTR. Yeah, I'm you're long with calls. Yeah, I'm still holding it in the larger account. When this starts to move, I might try to buy this in the smaller account. So, I'll definitely add to it in a larger account. That's for sure. But I'm still long in it. We've got a nice gap to the upside, nice power move to the upside. This is just normal profit taking pullback, if you ask me. And now we're back to where we gapped up to. We're back into that area. So let's watch for those buyers step in. But I'll certainly be adding to the one that I already have. Maybe buy another position for PLTR. I still think it goes higher. So that boom, boom, and let's see if it can make it up there. Okay. So I'm with you on it right now. Hey Sharon, TSLL. Thanks for asking. First, I want to go look at Tesla. Okay. First, I want to look at Tesla. So Tesla has run up right into that 50% retracement area. And what I've done is I've taken the top up here. What is that? December 2024 down to the bottom, which I don't know, pick whichever bottom you want, April of 2025. And that gives us our lines down there. This is the 50% retracement right here. Back up. You can see that we've got this line right there. And I probably could have just done this. Couldn't I have been faster? Just redo that. Couldn't I have? And that gives us our wedge in there. And you can see price has rallied up over the wedge, hit that 50% retracement, and has pulled back. Absolutely normal what this chart has done. This is like so normal. It's like clockwork. So tick tock, bang, hit your head up there. The first time, sometimes it'll go through, but that's not the rule. We've pulled back right down there to the 200 period moving average is holding it. The trend indicator is holding it. We've got a nice little flag pullback, bullish little Hiromi in there. And now this morning we have a little doji in there. I own Tesla in the large account. And to me, it looks like it's heading up. We need to get through this green area right here over that 350 area. Once that happens and stabilizes, then maybe that 380 area up there will get tagged. Now, you asked about TSLL. Well, we have to look at Tesla first because Tesla is what makes TSLL move. There we go. I'm also in TSLL. This is in the smaller account. So TSLL is in a rounded bottom breakout. A rounded bottom breakout is one of my favorite chart patterns. And now I trade a lot with moving averages, and it encompasses the 200 down to the 50. The 200 is the red line, blue line is the 50. So it takes in those two moving averages. And what we're looking for is a snap back up toward that 200 period moving average. Okay. And so far, I really don't want that on there. There we go. And so far, it's doing a great job. Here we've got this rally up. And again, I love moving averages. Here we hit the dotted deuce or the modified 200 period moving average, and it should do this. This is what we want it to do, is we want it to stop there. And then it pulls back. It pulls in more money, gains more interest, and that's what's happening now. Buyers are stepping in a little bit. You can see that yesterday. We're holding in there this morning pre-market. So what we're looking for is this to move up. Now break out over that dotted red line right in there, stabilize there, and now we can move up toward that 200 period moving average. Now, along the way, there's going to be a little bit of a speed bump right through here. You know, I guess I could make those just a tiny, think I could make them any more wider? Drive a dump truck through them. There you go. So right there is going to be a target. And then we're going to look at the 200 for a target. And then we have a target up here. There we go. About that 1850 mark. Now, ultimately, this is my favorite target area right there. We don't always get it, but you know, hey, if you don't reach for the star, you're never going to get a star. It's that simple. So that's my favorite target area. So maybe this thing can get going and ride its way up to 22 bucks. Now, I know that's a long way, and I know that's a big ask right there. But even up through here, you know, right there is 14%. The 200, big target area, there's a 30% move. You know, we're not going to sneeze at that one. So bottom line, I guess that was a long way to tell you I was still bullish on it. Still in this chart, still holding. I saw some news last night that they lowered the cost or something in the UK for some rental cars or something like that. I was a little concerned when I opened up and checked Tesla today that they would be down a little bit, but they're not. So far, that news, which would not seem bullish to me, is not affecting it. So I was concerned when we opened the market up here. Okay. What else do we have here? All right. Hey, yeah, if anyone has any last questions, let me know. You know, I haven't even looked at anything. Let me peek at a few that I had on my watch list here. I won't keep you very long. Okay. RCAT. I think RCAT is still a very good chart. It lost its balance right here big time. It's lost its balance and it's coming back up there. You know, it's very tradable. And this again is my favorite target point. It's also not only a favorite target point, when price pulls above it and can support itself, the targets above are great. It works great as support. So while I may not buy this until it actually breaks out, that's a great looking chart. And I mean, it's great might not be the best word because it's not a great looking chart. It fell off its chair. It's trying to climb back on its chair. When it gets on its chair again, like it's supposed to, it's going to be a good chart. Okay. IQV here is setting up. Look at IQV. Nice big gap up, big move to the top. Here we have a normal pullback. We rally up a little bit. We lost a little bit. Pre-market here, bulls bought it, and brought it back up. It's like a belt hold. It won't look like this when the market opens, but pre-market, that's a belt hold. Looks to me like we're going to head up and retest those highs up there. PAAS is setting up. Nice little pullback to the T line. Look at Pony here. Yesterday, Pony was pointed out to me in our trading room, and this is a pretty cool looking chart. Look at that bottom that it's making, and look where that speed bump is, And there we go. We've come up to that speed bump back here, and it was rejected. Again here, again here. Well, here we are now. The further we get down the road, the more likely it is to break out. This just might be that time, or we're getting awfully close for that breakout. And then once you break out, back up to the top is a nice little 25% move. So I think Pony should be put on the watch list. And Intel. Let's talk. And then we'll talk about two more after this. Intel. Look, Intel's getting a little help from the government. Whether you like that or not, it's got nothing to do with nothing. Trade the chart, and Intel just might become a buy here. Okay. I want it to calm down a little bit, build a little bit of a base, and then Intel's headed to 2750. That's what I'm going to look for. So, it's a nice 10.5% move once we get through this 38.2 line right here. Now, I would love for it to pull back a little bit more, but it might not. So watch for that entry. Again, if I buy it, I will post it in our app, whether you're in the room or not. As long as you're a member and you've got it downloaded, you will receive that alert. All right. Two more charts I want to look at. Bank of America. All right. So I was in Bank of America last week. Okay. This candle happened and I closed it Friday. Okay. I'm out of it. So then yesterday we get this candle in there. Yeah, I'm kind of pinching myself on it. It's like, doggone it. So Bank of America is looking pretty good now. Now it still needs to get through this downtrend line, but it sure is looking good here. And for those that are still in it, 2 thumbs up to you. Way to go. You're a bigger person than I am. I just couldn't stay in with that candle being a Friday. Wish I did. But man, that is looking really, really good. Okay. The other chart I want to talk about is Zeta. Zeta, and I'll do I don't think I did a case study on this. I closed Zeta out yesterday, also for another, I think it was like 30% profit. It's still going to go up here. I absolutely believe it is. But again, I sold it out because I felt the overall market's getting just a tiny bit toppy. I wanted to protect my money, and that's my choice the way I do it. I very rarely put a stop in and just raise it up. I know a lot of people do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong at all. Or is there? And here's one reason I don't do that. And then we need to call this a morning, okay? Now, I buy options. 9 out of 99.9% of the time, I buy directional options. So I'm in this with an option, right? And I'm up, I don't know. Let's see. I will be closing Zeta. Yeah, 39%. I closed Zeta out. If I didn't, I could put my stop in. And what happens is if that price was to come down and run through that stop, it might not trigger it and it just jump over it. And with options, it takes all of this and all of this to get you 39% up. But it might take you this to rip that 39% clean out of your hands. Okay. So, I mean, you do what you do, I do what I do, and I would rather put that 39% in my top pocket because you nor anyone else can take it away from me now. But it can be taken away from you on the charts. All right. Okay. With that, I want to say thank you, everybody, for being here. Market opens up at 9:30 Eastern time, and hope to see everybody here in the trading room. Please register for that open house. We've got class times here, and it doesn't mean you have to be in the room the whole time. If you just want to come learn about the pinball setup, you just have to be there at noon Eastern, and you'll be there for that. So if we have a lot of traders that actually work, for a living somewhere else, punch a clock. and they've got their phone underneath their desk and they're looking, at charts and listening to us online. If you can log in at just noon, please do so. We love to have you. Okay, but you do have to register for the open house. All right. Thank you, everybody. Absolutely appreciate it. Members, we'll see you shortly in the room. Okay. Well, when the market opens. Thanks a lot. You guys take care.